So I decided to make a part 2 video about living with anxiety because my first one, I have to put my hair up because I can't stand looking at it. Because the first one, I kind of went off on different subjects a lot. So we're just going to make this clear. I wrote down even the points I need to go over. So the first point is that everyone you meet or haven't met or that exists has anxiety. It has different levels, of course, but everyone has anxiety. It's a natural human thing. Everyone has it. The levels, though, that's the thing, is people can get anxious about their job interview, and that's, considered normal. And then people get anxious when they talk to people, social anxiety or something like that, and then it keeps building and building different types of anxiety and different levels to the different types of anxiety. It's crazy. So my second point is, if you have severe anxiety disorders or panic attacks, phobias, anything that does not make you less than or weak, it honestly makes you stronger. And I'm not saying that, if you don't have anxiety, you're weak. I'm not saying that. If you don't have anxiety, consider yourself lucky. If you do, it doesn't make you weak. You have a different thing going on in your brain, and it makes you overthink, and that doesn't always have to be a bad thing. Number 3, my views on medication. So I was on medication for my anxiety, a few different medications. I was on Prozac, I think, and I went on that when I was 15 or 14, I can't remember. Didn't work, made me super nauseous, super shaky, dry mouth. I didn't like how I felt. I just felt kind of like I couldn't really think at all. The second medication I was on was actually used as a medication for epilepsy, which was also considered to, my dog, was also considered to help mood disorder, which was a false diagnosis that I got from a doctor, a psychiatrist at Kaiser. I was 16, I was already grumpy, didn't want to go, so of course she's going to be like, you have mood disorder because you're being a bitch, and whatever. So that stuff made my hair fall out, and it made me break out in a rash, and I just would cry all the time, so that wasn't good. Then I was on Zoloft, actually, when I was 18, and I tried it again when I was 19, and it just really didn't work for me. But when I was 18, it kind of helped my anxiety, I would say, in a way. I didn't have really the physical factors of an anxiety attack. I would just be constantly anxious, but I could function. That was the thing. And it also made me, this is pretty gross, but it also made me have the shits, for the entire year I was on it. So I lost a lot of weight, and I got super skinny, and I couldn't gain weight, and my muscles wouldn't grow. No matter how much I worked out or tried to gain muscle or ate or drank milk or all that shit, it didn't help. I definitely think being on birth control played a huge part in that, because I was on the pill, and then I switched different pills a lot because they weren't working for me. I did the Depo shot once, which was awful. So I'm finally not on birth control, as I said in my last video, which is amazing how much better I feel daily. It really made a difference. I have a very sensitive body, so I feel every single side effect that you could possibly have on any type of medication. I mean, Benadryl, that stuff makes you sleepy. No, it makes you pass the fuck out. Well, me. Anyway. So the fourth point is coping mechanisms. I have had so many different coping mechanisms that I can't even really think of them all. The best tool I have is one that my mom keeps talking to me about, and I really appreciate. It is the 5 senses. So what are you smelling? What do you see? What do you taste? What do you smell? Was that 5? Shit, I don't know. But anyway, the 5 senses. That really helps you ground yourself and be better. A lot of ways that I actually learned my coping mechanisms and tools was Google. I would Google. I would go on WikiHow or however you say it, and it helped a lot. Of course, a lot of my counselors had some coping mechanisms too. A lot of them didn't work for me. Journaling was one thing that really helps me, just to like have a thought and write it down and remember it and read it back when you're feeling low. The fifth and probably most important point is do not ignore your anxiety. Don't do it. It's gonna build and build and build until you freak the fuck out. Like, you have to take it seriously. It is, if you have anxiety and you're just like, oh no, I'm fine, I'm gonna push it aside, I'm gonna still go do what I have to do. No. You can take a minute, even if you're at work, wherever you are, like, take a minute. If you're at school, whatever, go to the bathroom, take a minute, breathe, calm yourself down. Don't just push it to the side. You need to accept what you're feeling and deal with it in the moment instead of letting it build and build and build until you break down. That is the most important thing. So those were my 5 points. I did that really quick. Wow, only 6 minutes. My last video was like 15. But yeah, so again, if you need anyone to talk to, if you have any questions at all, if you have suggestions for topics that I can make my videos about, go ahead and comment below, or whatever, subscribe to my channel, all that good stuff. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. I'm just kidding, I'm not that crazy. So yeah, feel free to reach out. I am always available, well, mostly available to reply to you. Okay, see ya.